Have you ever met a stranger whose silence felt more familiar than your own reflection? It's a peculiar kind of magic, isn't it? One moment you're navigating the comfortable, predictable rhythm of your life, and the next, a soul crashes into your atmosphere with the force of a divine meteor, not to destroy, but to excavate. This is the mystery we're unraveling. This isn't about finding your missing half in some romantic, completion-based fairy tale. That notion is far too small for the grandeur of what's actually occurring. The universe, in its infinite and sometimes mischievous wisdom, doesn't send a twin flame to placate you with comfort. Oh no, it dispatches them as a sacred catalyst, a beautifully calibrated shock to your system designed to awaken parts of you that have been slumbering for lifetimes. Imagine you're a perfectly still, clear pond. Then a single stone is dropped. The ripples are chaotic, disruptive, and unsettling the entire surface. Your twin flame is that stone. The initial splash is the breathtaking chemistry, the feeling of homecoming. But the real work, the true purpose, is in the ripples that eventually reach the most distant, muddy shores of your being, stirring up sediment you forgot was there. This connection is less about building a life with someone and more about the profound, often uncomfortable, alchemy of rebuilding yourself. It's about discovering that the love that will truly set you free was never hidden in their eyes, but in the courage you find in your own when you finally decide to look. Ready to understand the map to this terrifying and magnificent terrain? Well, let's begin. You know the feeling, that initial meeting. It's like coming home to a house you didn't even know you owned, but every piece of furniture, every photograph on the wall is somehow yours. It's euphoric, it's divine. And then the wallpaper starts to peel. A floorboard creaks in a way that sets your teeth on edge. You notice a crack in the foundation you were sure was solid. This, my dear, is where the real magic begins. This is the sacred disruption. The universe didn't send your twin flame to be your solace. It sent them to be your trigger. A divine, impeccably timed, and painfully accurate trigger. Think of them less as a lover and more as a master locksmith, whose very presence has a knack for picking the locks on all the doors you've so carefully sealed shut inside yourself. The vault of old abandonments, the closet of stifled creativity, the dusty attic of childhood wounds you swore you'd cleared out years ago. Let's be honest, that searing, gut-wrenching pain you feel when they seem distant. It's not just about them at this moment. It's an echo. It's the universe holding up a microphone to a much older, much deeper ache. The first time you felt unseen, the first time you were left waiting, the first time you learned to make yourself small to be loved. Your twin flame, in their glorious, frustrating, and perfect imperfection, just walked in and tapped the glass on that old fish tank, and all the sediment you thought had settled is now clouding your water, and your first instinct is to scream at them for making a mess. The humor is not lost on me. It's like getting angry at the rain for falling. Instead of simply acknowledging you're getting wet and that maybe you should have built a sturdier shelter a long time ago. This is the mirror at its most potent. It doesn't show you what you want to see. It shows you what is. and what can be terrifyingly messy. Their perceived rejection holds up a magnifying glass to your own hidden belief that you are unworthy of steadfast love. Their fierce independence might illuminate your own quiet, codependent tendencies, the ones you cleverly disguised as being a nurturer. Their success might trigger a dormant jealousy that shocks you with its intensity, revealing places where you have not yet given yourself permission to shine. This is not a punishment. This is the most efficient, albeit uncomfortable delivery system for self-awareness ever devised. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, knows we are brilliant at self-deception. So it sends a soul we cannot ignore, a connection we cannot logic our way out of to do the work. Gosh, it forces our hand. And here's the philosophical kicker, the part that truly bends the mind. The very traits in them that trigger you the most are often the disowned, unintegrated parts of yourself. Their freedom triggers your own longing for it. Their voice triggers your own silenced one. Their chaos mirrors the chaos you suppress within your own soul in a desperate bid for control. You are not two halves of one soul. That's a beautiful but incomplete fairy tale. You are two whole souls standing face to face, showing each other the exact blueprint of what wholeness looks like for the other. The friction is the sandpaper smoothing the rough edges, not to make you fit together, but to make you both stand more beautifully on your own. So the next time you feel that familiar ache, that rising panic, that ancient wound being poked, I want you to try something radical. Instead of reaching for your phone to text them or collapsing into a narrative of heartbreak, I want you to place your hand on your own heart. Take a deep, shuddering breath and ask the real question. Where have I felt this exact feeling before? Trace the thread. Follow it back through the years. You will find it didn't start with them. They are merely the lighthouse, casting a beam onto the rocky, shipwrecked parts of your own shoreline. The healing wasn't ever their job, it was always yours. And in showing you so precisely where the hurt lives, they have given you the greatest gift imaginable, a map. And if you think understanding this mirror is a game changer, wait until you feel the invisible, unbreakable cord that keeps you connected even when all hope seems lost. But that is a story for another moment. So, you've met them, the world ignited, and then life happens. Separation, distance, silence. Maybe it's 1,000 miles. Maybe it's just the unbearable quiet from across the breakfast table. And this is where most of the world would tell you to move on. Out of sight, out of mind, they chirp, with all the spiritual depth of a paper plate. But you can't. And you know in the quietest hours that it's not just stubbornness or a broken heart. It's something else entirely. It's because you have a phantom limb. You know the phenomenon? When someone loses an arm or a leg, they can still feel it itching, aching, there. It's because the map of that limb is still etched into the very circuitry of their brain. Now, imagine that, but for a part of your soul. That's your twin flame connection in separation. Your logical mind, your friends, the entire rational world sees one arm, one leg, a complete you. But your entire nervous system, your spiritual body, is screaming that a vital part of your own energy field is over there, wherever there is. This isn't a metaphor I'm using to be poetic. I'm describing a reported, consistent, and palpable sensation that countless people on this path experience. A pressure in the chest that isn't anxiety. A sudden warmth that floods you for no reason. A feeling of a hand you can't see brushing your hair back. It's your energy body reaching out and touching what it knows to be its other resonant frequency. It's your soul's Wi-Fi, and it's permanently connected to their network, with no password required and no off switch. Let me give you a scenario that's probably laughably familiar. You're going about your day, determined, focused on your own healing, doing your affirmations, being a properly whole and independent human being. You're fine, really. And then out of the blue, while you're just trying to decide which avocado is the ripest in the grocery store, a wave of profound, inexplicable sorrow washes over you. It's so heavy, it almost bends your knees. It doesn't feel like your sadness. It feels like you've walked into a cloud of someone else's grief. You fight it. You rationalize it. It's the weather. It's burnout. It's that sad song from 3 days ago. But the feeling clings. Then a day later, you get a text, or you see a social media post, or you just know they were in the depths of their own healing crisis at that exact moment. You were picking up their signal. You were, for all intents and purposes, doing long-distance energy work for each other without even meaning to. This is the energetic anchor. It's the universe's fail-safe. It's the divine ensuring that the profound lessons of the mirror continue even when you're not in the same room, the same city, or even on speaking terms. This cord is not a leash of dependency. It's a teaching filament. It's forcing you to learn the language of intuition over the noise of conversation. It's compelling you to sense love as a verb, an active, flowing current, rather than a noun you possess or lose. When you feel that sudden, irrational joy bubble up from nowhere, that's them having a breakthrough, and you're getting a taste of their victory. When you dream of them with a clarity so sharp it feels more real than your waking life, you are quite literally meeting in the astral field, where your souls can communicate without the baggage of your human egos getting in the way. It's your job to learn to trust this, to stop pathologizing these moments as crazy, and start honoring them as the advanced, telepathic intimacy that they are. This tether is the classroom where you learn that love is not a transaction of time and attention. It's a state of being, a shared frequency. You are, quite literally, in a constant, silent dialogue that is forging a new kind of relationship, one that exists beyond the limitations of the three-dimensional world. It's maddening, it's beautiful, and it is the most potent evidence that what you're experiencing is not of this earth. It's the universe whispering, "You think this is about romance? Oh my dear, this is about rewriting the very definition of connection itself." And the most fascinating part? This anchor doesn't just send feelings back and forth. It has an intelligence of its own, orchestrating synchronicities that are too precise to be chance, pulling you both toward the lessons you need. But that is a conversation about the hidden choreography of the universe itself. So here you stand, In the quiet aftermath of understanding, the initial lightning strike of recognition has passed. The thunder of emotional upheaval is rumbling into the distance, and you're left not with an answer, but with a new set of questions that feel less like burdens and more like sacred tools. This is the true terrain of the twin flame journey. It's not a destination you arrive at with a triumphant flourish. It's a landscape you learn to inhabit with a new kind of courage, a quieter, more resilient strength. Think of it as a form of spiritual alchemy, the base metals of your old self, your fears, your insecurities, your conditioned patterns of love and loss are placed in the crucible of this connection. The intense, often unbearable heat generated by the mirror and the separation is not a punishment. It is the precise temperature required for transmutation. It is the fire that burns away everything that is not essence, until all that remains is the gold of your authentic spirit. This is why the path feels so brutal at times. You are not just healing a wound, you are being fundamentally remade. The universe didn't introduce you to your twin flame to give you a relationship. It introduced you to your twin flame to initiate you into a relationship with yourself that is so honest, so deep, and so unconditionally loving that it becomes the bedrock for every other connection in your life. And this is where the great paradox reveals its beautiful, humbling face. The entire tumultuous, glorious, heart-wrenching process is designed to lead you to a state of profound and unshakable inner union. The frantic longing for a physical union, for the happily ever after your human mind craves, begins to quieten. It's replaced by a serene, unassailable knowing that the connection is eternal, regardless of form, time, or space. The energetic cord is no longer a source of anxious tugging, but a filament of light you can feel humming with a life of its own, connecting you to a shared field of consciousness. You start to understand that your individual healing is the most potent love letter you could ever send them, because in this realm of interconnected souls, your peace becomes their peace. Your wholeness elevates the entire frequency of the connection. This journey is the universe's masterclass in teaching you that the greatest love story you will ever experience is not the one you have with another, but the one you forge within the silent, sacred chambers of your own heart. It's about learning to hold your own hand in the dark, to sing your own lullabies, to become the sanctuary you once sought in another. When you finally become that self-contained temple of love and acceptance, something magical happens. The need for the external validation, the desperate clinging, simply dissolves. And what is left is a love for your twin flame that is clean, free, and vast as the sky. A love that wishes for their highest good, not because you hope to benefit from it, but because your soul recognizes their journey as sacred too. You are not waiting for a missing piece. You are learning to recognize that you were the entire mosaic all along. The universe chose them for you not to complete the picture, but to help you see the breathtaking, complex, and already whole masterpiece that you are. And the most thrilling part? This is just the beginning of remembering the magnificent, sovereign being you came here to be. The real adventure starts now.